Hey, welcome back to 30 Days to Building a Marriage You Love. I'm Danielle,
And I'm Chris.
and we're going to roll right into tip number 17, which is be proactive. I'm actually going to turn it over to Chris with a great example that is near and dear to his medevac helicopter heart. But just to kick off this tip, there is probably no better example than what he has.
Yeah, so when it comes to helicopters and flying helicopters, everyone will tell you how important maintenance is on a helicopter. Preventive maintenance in particular is super important. So on a Black Hawk, there's different maintenance phases that we have different tasks that have to be complete. And the purpose of doing that is very significant. One, it's really to keep the aircraft in good condition and also identify potential problems before they could lead to serious consequences. Additionally, it also adds to the longevity of the parts and the aircraft. It's preventive maintenance. So we're conducting preventive maintenance before there's an actual significant serious problem. So it's not too different when it comes to marriage, right? And so when we're talking about being proactive, we're talking about proactively working on your marriage before there's an actual problem that you cannot rebound from, or that it's really, really difficult to rebound from. You want to unpackage that, sweetie?
Yeah. I really think it's so helpful when you start to think about your marriage and just where you're at. And maybe if you're starting to see like yellow flags that you're like, there may be something just below the surface. Those are really good things, like indicators, like warning lights that should really act as a cautionary signal for you to slow down and for you to not just keep pushing through. I understand that there are busy seasons that you're like, this is a full-on sprinting season, I just can't. But it really is exactly like what Chris is saying. Those are those seasons that we've got to start to pay attention to those warning signs and prioritize it above everything else and say, no, if this is not a life or death issue, I need to, be proactive to, whether it's have a date night. And this is going to look different for every single couple, right? And that's what's beautiful about this, is that there is no cookie cutter answer, which is also really hard for some of those people like me who are like, I just want the manual. I want to know what I need to do so I can just go do it and be as efficient as possible. But it really is to your best interest to heed to the warning sign, the warning situation, and go prioritize time and figure out what you need to do. And so sometimes even being proactive to say, like for Chris, one of his big love languages, and mine too, is for sure quality time. But I could do fine just connecting on the couch and just hanging out, where Chris, it like fills his love tank to a whole nother level for us to go and connect out of the house, which is great. But I know, and I start to see just again, and it never happens with him, but if he were to throw up, like, just if whatever, like we're, having just a tough week or whatnot. And I can tell, okay, we need to go to the next level of like, and I just need to make sure I'm giving extra attention and effort into our marriage right now. Your face. It's just one of those things. And so, for example, one of our dear friends, for their marriage, they do a fantastic job prioritizing their marriage. And so Morgan, obviously our co-founder for Catalyst Women, but she and Kyle, about 2 years ago, they really started every quarter. They actually write out a very specific thing that they're going to do for their marriage. And it really has gotten Chris and I even started us talking about, okay, well, what are some ways that we can connect? And so I'm going to elaborate real quick on what Morgan and Kyle have, some things that they've done. And one of the things that Chris and I have started to do. But one quarter, they attended a marital conference. One quarter, they did a marriage study book together. And they regularly, about once a quarter, go and meet with the pastor who did their premarital counseling, and they just have those conversations. And so as Chris and I were kind of navigating even our own season, just a while back, we were like, you know what, it would be actually good for us to connect with a counselor. We haven't really just like unpackaged and made some intentional time. And again, not because anything was crazy wrong, but just because things can build, and in good effort, I think sometimes we kind of like stuff things or wait till a good time, and there isn't a good time. So being proactive before, like Chris said, things became, very wrong, or we had stuffed things for so long that we just blew, those are just ways that we've been able to connect or be proactive. I mean, I think so, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's been helpful. I mean, we lean on my parents for discussion and dialogue in marriage, and that's another way that you can do it is talk to somebody that's been doing this much longer than you.
Yeah.
I think it would be foolish to completely disregard people that have been successful in marriage. And my parents been married over 50 years, and they may have a very different way to approach challenges or approach conflict, but at the same time, they've been very successful in navigating a lot of storms in 52 years. And so it's pretty amazing to kind of hear stories from other people too that have navigated some challenges that early on in our marriage we've worked through, and things that we're continuing to work through.
Yes. As just as you were talking, babe, what came to me real quick was I want to say it's Proverbs 15:22, but it just talks about um without counsel plans fail, but with many advisors they succeed. And exactly what you were talking about, and I know that we're going to talk about in one of the next videos, or maybe we already healthy community, like we already actually just talked about that, I think in video 14 or 15, sorry. But exactly like what you're saying, without healthy community, or like you said, people who have been doing this, and just bringing in some of people who are walking with the Lord, who have been doing this a lot longer than you, who can just say, yes, we've been there, and just having those safe spaces to talk about those things. And I think those are all great elements of being proactive. So,
Absolutely.
and I don't even think it has to be like some serious thing. Like even for Christmas, I got us these relationship relationship conversation cards, and they have them for all sorts of different things. But it's fun because sometimes I'll just like pull out a card, and I'll just, like, I asked, one of the questions I asked the other night was, what was the most impactful trip you've ever gone on? And so it was just a way for us to connect, discover things about each other, and just fun. Another one for us has even been going out and doing new activities together, like dancing. That has been a really fun way where, like, gosh, a night out salsa dancing with you is like 3 therapy sessions for me. I don't know. But anyway, babe, what's our takeaway from this? Like, what's our big tip?
So I think if you don't remember anything else we say in this video, let's be proactive and be intentional. And at the end of the day, thinking through ways that you can proactively work through, or really proactively set the conditions for a successful marriage, and being proactive through maintenance, being proactive through having really just intentional actions to work together. And it's a good way to prevent, I don't know, we're gonna have to edit this part because I just lost it. Yeah.
You make my job hard.
Yes. All right. So we'll edit this out. And then, so you ended with what's the takeaway? So
Be proactive, be intentional.
yeah. So I think it's important to just think about being proactive and be intentional. So if you don't remember anything else we say from this video, proactively preventing, proactively, I don't know why, that's where I'm losing it right there. Not proactively preventing, be proactive.
I feel like you're trying to like loop in the helicopter
Yeah,
definition
yeah.
instead of just speaking how the spirit leads.
Okay, Jesus juke. Um,
Just
yes. Okay, okay. Okay, so I think if you don't remember anything else we say through this video, it's be proactive and be intentional.
yeah.
And when you are tied into the Holy Spirit and you're really seeking the Lord to be intentional in your marriage and figure out ways to work together and really have a long and happy marriage, the Lord's going to bring ideas to you. He's going to bring ways that you can absolutely be successful, and you can absolutely proactively think of ways to connect with the other person to make sure that you don't run into the same conflicts that cause other marriages to fall apart. That doesn't have to be you. That doesn't have to be us. And one way we navigate that in advance is by making sure we are having our daily encounters with the Lord every day, and really seeking Him not only about uh, our individual hearts, but the heart of our spouse and the heart of our family. And that's a great way to make sure that you are proactively taking care of your marriage.
That's so good. Well, thank you for joining us. One thing that just came to mind as we're wrapping up, the best thing that you can do, and this is true with business, with anything, is just be specific. So as you are charting that out and trying out new things, or even having that dialogue with your spouse to just figure out what that could look like, or brainstorming ideas, be specific. So as specific as you can be, put it on the calendar, make the space for it, because remember, it's not just going to show up. But then just start and just try. And like a muscle, the more that you practice, the more that you engage, the more that you press in, you're going to figure it out, and celebrating those small wins. So thank you for joining us for tip number 17 on being proactive. We'll see you guys next time.